jailing for praise. What do you praise? Why do you praise it? It's all in you. We all have a praise in us. Either it's our church, our family, our children, our job, our car, something we praise. So when we were putting this project together, I say we because I'm a part of a group. I'm going to introduce my co-founder in a second. She's going to kill me if she's not talking about my name. This project is about your praise. It's not about my praise. It's about what do you praise. And I ask you to bring it together in 3 different colors. That's what we did, photographed in 3 different colors. And then unify it all together underneath one banner. So when you see the project, you will see the word praise. In the word praise is the names or spirit of our female ancestors, which I asked some girl to give me the name of your ancestors, female ancestors. So we put them inside the word praise. So you see the ancestors holding the word up. And the word is praise that they're holding up. And then you'll see the individuals in the actual piece. We are God-centered. Whatever you call God, I'm cool with it. I'm concerned what are you doing in the community to make the community a better place. That has nothing to do with the title you call God. It all depends what's in your heart. Okay, so I'm going to introduce my co-founder, Ms. Ruby Burke, and then my co-host for tonight, I'm going to introduce her after that. Well, I'm going to have Ruby introduce her. So Ruby Burke, my co-founder, come up here and say hello to the family.
Okay, hello. As Emma said, I'm Ruby, I'm co-founder of Sisters in Harmony. I don't know where to start. I guess I'll start with the survivors poster. When Emma talked to me about it, I did decide, you know, we should do a book. And the book was really positive, helped a lot of people. I have someone here who has a story in the book as well, Ms. Tracy Moore. She's a founder, she's a member of Sisters in Harmony. Right now we're working on 2 projects. We have a project, My Vote. It's basically, that's where we're going to have men as well. When he talks about men and women, both. You can't do one, have one without the other. Our next project, you have to be over 18, the male. And actually the female as well. You have to be over 18 because to vote in the United States, you have to be 18. That project, for me, it has different meanings for everyone, but for me, it's, I have a vote. A lot of people died and a lot of people suffered so that I could vote. And I feel that it is my responsibility. So that's what I do.
I'm always honored to support any endeavor. We brainstormed about so many things. He and I were on the phone for hours. How about this? How about that? Shooting for him. I don't know how many places I've been with Edmund to shoot, to create images for him, but it's always been a pleasure and it's always been an honor. And I'm the first person to say that as long as the opportunity for someone else to do something remains available and someone chooses you to do what you do, I find it an honor and definitely a blessing.
So some of you might find it shocking. I'm Puerto Rican, I'm from Puerto Rico. And the reason why I have to say that, everywhere I go, I'm standing in the corner and you hear the negative tones, especially in my own country, when they come and they say, like, you know, who's that? But it's okay, you know. This is my neighborhood. I am a product of Best-Eye. I came from Boys High, 832 Marcy and Putnam. That's me, okay? I lived in South 3rd and Havermont. Like the sister was saying, say something about yourself. That's my resume. All right, I thank my parents. I still got them alive that gave me the education that I have. And thanks my dad for the man that I am today. Okay, without those 2 persons, nothing would happen.
As the introduction said, I'm the co-founder of a newly established corporation. It's called New York Metropolitan Law Enforcement Training Center. And we're going to be spending a lot of time with people who are in law enforcement, or people who have been in law enforcement for a significant period of time. If they don't get enough training, they'll be able to get it at this place. But besides that, I wasn't really here to speak on that level. The purpose of me being here today is to speak on a clinic that we're going to be putting on specifically for surrounding around Sisters of Harmony. It has to do with dealing with size differences. I hate to say, you know, women's self-defense, or, you know, defending yourselves, because there are a lot of men who are slight of stature, who have the heart, the same heart that the women have, to deal with a confrontation, but they just don't have the skill. And in law enforcement, especially in federal law enforcement, they teach how to have the mind and the body working together. Because the worst thing that you cannot defend on is the element of surprise. I don't care how good you are, and there's a lot of martial artists that are here. And the one thing we can't defend against is the element of surprise. We as martial artists walk around as the element of surprise. That's what we do. That's part of what we do. However, when you're in the street, what you have to be able to understand that the person who may be attacking you, who may be planning to attack you, he has a plan.
Good night, everyone. Good night. I feel pleasure and blessed to see so many beautiful people in Rostar tonight, and so many elders. Thank you guys for doing this. I'm proud and honored to be a part of Sisters in Harmony and their movement. Anything that's positive in our community, like the brother just said, our community is planet Earth, like we all know. Rostar is about healing of our community, sharing the word, sharing the little knowledge that we have, and being able to move as a people in health, strength, wealth, and peace, harmony. You know, everybody can live and be a part of this in unity. You know what I mean? So I just want to tell you a little bit of why we're here and why we're in this community. First of all, we're in this community because it's a community that have the money to support a business like Rostar. I say it like that because this food is not a very cheap, you know, it's not a very cheap place you could run into and say, I'm going to grab a meal, you know what I mean? But when you look at it this way, it's like, it's an investment for us and our family, our youths to come. The reason why we are here is because Paxhope is not too far, and these folks they have the means to keep a business like this open while we teach the folks that doesn't have. You know, that's why we do raw food, free prep classes before every season of classes. You guys are just in time because we have the free class on Monday. We do things like go to different schools, community programs, women's group, churches, stuff like that to teach the benefits of raw and how we could incorporate it in our community and in our lifestyle and our homes. The benefits of raw and the reason that we push raw food in our communities, when we cook our food, when we cook our fruits and vegetables and all that, we kill all the minerals, all the enzyme, mineral, anything you think you could get from vegetables. When you cook it, you break it down, at least you get like 30% of what it could have given to us as a medicine, as manna from heaven. When we cook our food, we tamper with all the vitamins that we could get from it. So we want to teach people how to prepare raw food and make it taste like cooked food. So we could introduce it to our families or young ones that's not accustomed to, you know, eating all that good nutriment. And
100 Blacks in Law Enforcement, we started in 1995. Now all of us are, still until we die, we're guardians. However, there were some things which I was on to that kind of provoked us into moving in a different direction. When we first started, all we were doing was we formed it just to give $1,000 back a month to the black community. When we formed 100 Blacks, we gathered a cross-section of law enforcement people and said, we're not doing anything other than giving back. So we took our resources, and every month we would give $1,000 to anything from a daycare center, a drum and bugle corps, anything, especially if it revolves around youth. This is what we were doing, and we did that for well over a year and change. Just that, nothing else, nothing in front of cameras, nothing in so-called activist mode. We simply was giving back to needed, institutions. We wanted to inspire black engineers, black teachers, black doctors to form their own organizations and then outdo us. We wanted to get into a competition thing and just get other, people who so-called made it or who have resources to give something back, because there were desperate organizations, still are to this day, desperate institutions that need funding. And so we did that successfully for a good little while and still maintained whatever other affiliations we had. And then Abner Louima came around. And when the situation, everybody knows Abner Louima, right? What happened? Okay, I don't want to be presumptuous. When that happened, we called on the guardian organizations to support Abner Louima, because we got the call, the night it happened. We won't say the nurse, but a nurse called us from the hospital and told us that a black man was abused by the police department. And that it was rather graphic the way, we just almost couldn't believe it when they said that a stick was rammed up his behind by police officers, and they're covering and claiming at the time they were claiming that it was a gay bar and he engaged in gay sex, and it ultimately led to his insides being just ruptured. So we got the call from a nurse, and the nurse, when she told us what happened, we turned around and told black organizations, what y'all gonna do? We have a situation here, and everybody else sort of went south on this one. They didn't want to deal with it because it's no lightweight thing when you challenge the police department. So all the organizations that you might know, whether it's Guardians, Noble, and so many other organizations, everybody stayed away from it. So we came together and said, no, we're going to do something about it. And we went to the hospital, spoke to certain people, and then we started challenging the police department and exposed it. Actually, a day or two later, if you recall, we were the first ones to expose what actually happened that night. And from then, we started supporting various things like that. But we stayed with Abner Louima throughout the whole time to ensure that he gets some semblance of justice.
I'm a part of Sisters in Harmony. As Ed said, each of us has a story. Each of us is a survivor of something. And part of my story in terms of surviving, 12 years ago, my 12-year-old daughter had been raped and by a man in the neighborhood. And he was 23 years old, and it not only affected my daughter, but it affected the family as well, of course, and the community as well. Now, the community was not very kind when it happened, in that when they found out about it, the kids in the neighborhood, used to make fun of my daughter. And when she went to school, her first attempt at suicide took place at school. And then there were 4 other attempts after that, and each time we had to Baker Act her because she was a danger to herself. And the frustration I had as a mother was trying to find help for my daughter, psychological, some type of counseling. We went to counseling. At the time, my husband, he was going through his own midlife crisis, so he had withdrawn from the family. That eventually ended up in divorce. My oldest son, well, my only son, he went on to the military. And so who was left was myself and my oldest daughter, because my youngest daughter then ran away. And she was gone and lost in the system for 3 years. And missing children, the Center for Missing Children and Exploited Children, her pictures were up and down the eastern seaboard. And like I said, it took 3 years to find her. And whenever I got a sighting, I was there looking for my child because I refused to believe that she was dead. Because there were times when I would hear her, you know, and I would hear her crying, and my prayer was, Lord, wherever she is, protect her. Because, and that's why I keep an open door in my house, and even now that my kids are in their 20s, they love hanging out at my house because I believe in keeping an open door. And there are foster kids who are in the system who don't have mothers or fathers to guide them, and God just sends them to me, you know, to be able to minister to them. And I let them know, and like I told my daughter, I said, you know, I've invested in you, and I'm not going to give up. I would never give up. We would never give up. You know, so my story has been to no longer bear the shame, holding my head down, because there were times when I did not want to get up. You know, I still have to go to work. And to get up every single morning and go, and first for a while they didn't know on the job what had happened, because, you know, you're carrying the shame. You know, this happened to my daughter, wasn't able to protect her, you know, and I know they're law enforcement. I used to carry a gun, and I went out in the neighborhood looking. And the police told me, no, we'll take care of it. When they finally prosecuted him, 3 years, that was it.
Wow.
3 years. You know, so 3 years later, the detective assigned to her found her. And how he found her, she was visiting the detention center, and he said, hey, wait a minute, I got your picture. And she came back home. The same child that I bore was not the child who came back, you know, because she had been in the underbelly. She's experienced drugs. She's been stabbed. I mean, she became a fighter. This is the same child who was 2 pounds and 2 ounces when she was born. And so I knew that her life had a purpose. And I told her, from the womb, God called you, whatever you choose to call him, there's a purpose for every single one of us. You know, some of us lose our way because we don't have people to guide us. You know, they don't know any better. You know, so we don't, you know. But I told her, I said, I said, you have a purpose, you have a voice. And I told her, I said, I can't speak for you, I can speak as a mother. You know, I can tell my story as a mother who believed in her and believed in all the young people. And the one thing I found is that when, like Grandmaster said, is, you know, first you honor the Creator in all of us, and you let people know that you love them and you believe in transparency, because that's what I believe in is transparency. I'm sorry, I get passionate about this, and Brother Umoja knows that.
It's all right.
You know, I love talking about this. I love going to schools and motivating young people and letting them know, tell me just one word about yourself. It doesn't have to be 1,000 words. Just one word, a positive word about you, and then build on it. You know, now, this book, I'm sorry, let me calm down. This book was a compilation I did with a former police officer in New Jersey, in East Orange. And I heard him talk about the Diallo situation. And this, even though it's fiction, it deals with corruption of a few cops, but there's still honest cops who are focused on serving and protecting. And in the story also it deals with a victim who was 15. That victim died. And like I said, my daughter, on that day when it happened, she died. The innocence of her died, but out of the ashes, you know. If you see her today, she's 22, she'll be 23 in April. You would never know her story until you heard her speak.
Inc. is a not-for-profit organization that works to preserve the reggae art form and its traditional message of healing and unity. The mission of the coalition is to raise the bar in the creation, development, promotion, and presentation of reggae music, to elevate the profile of its purveyors, and to research, codify, curate, and disseminate literature about the genre so as to increase understanding of its developments, its significance, and its influence around the world. Reggae music is so strong that during apartheid in South Africa, they could not listen to the music because of its content, its lyrical content. Who would stand up against Peter Tosh's Get Up, Stand Up for Your Rights and Bob Marley? You know, War, which took part of the speech by His Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I, that says, until the color of a man's skin is of no more significance, then it becomes the color of his eyes. There will always be war. So these are the things that we're trying to preserve in the music, and this is why we feel that we need to be. The organization consists of some radio DJs, volunteers. It's a for-profit organization, as I said. So we're looking for members, we're looking for people who are passionate about preserving the roots and the culture of that music and spreading it in a positive manner. It's not about dissing people, it's not about, you know, oh, putting this race down and doing that. I remember I went to an art exhibit, and somewhere, I think it was in Croatia or something, it's like they were fighting for freedom. And on their flag, who did they have? A picture of Bob Marley, okay? The one love aspect. So this is the power of reggae music, and I do believe that if, with all the work and the help of our community and everything, we can really come together and make it work. And that's our tagline for the Coalition to Preserve Reggae Music. We Ja people can make it work. Come together and make it work. So again, if you all are interested in finding out more about the Coalition to Preserve Reggae Music, we have radio talk shows that talk about, you know, the state of reggae music. Like here, I think it was last week. Who heard about Buju Banton? And he was convicted of all of this stuff, of you know, of possessing cocaine with intent to distribute and all that stuff. So that's one of the topics that's being discussed this week, and it's called Reggae Real Talk. It comes on Thursday evening, and it's on an online station, e2onair.com.
The next thing we're going to do, this is personal for me. I did this, he doesn't know I did it. He probably beat me up later, but that's okay. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out. I'd like to thank, before I mention your brother, I said we have 2 spots right now in New York. We shoot at here and in Harlem. Those of you who like wearing hats, you need to make sure you visit his website, hatsbybun.com. Bun, B-U-N-N. His brother does hats for people all over the world. All over the world. Okay, on his website. If you like wearing hats, he does the simple caps, the hats for church and everything. I'd like to thank him for coming down from Harlem tonight. Thank you, Brother Bun. He allows his store to be my personal viewing place. All the images and 95% of the pictures on his wall is my work. I'd like to thank him for that. So I have an ongoing gallery at his store.
And I don't charge him a dime.
That is the second principle, the third principle of the Nguzo Saba, Ujima, collective work. Right now, I've been honored to be part of a temple called this is the Shrine of Kepler, where we work very hard to keep the culture intact and teach it. I'm 49, I'll be 50 this year, and it's been an honor being part of this temple. I get an inside look at some of the stuff that happened, and I'm able to record it, get the images. And this summer we were doing some work, and I was asked to shoot some images for some people and put a special piece together. And Grandmaster hasn't asked me about it again. He asked me to do something, he leaves me alone, but he knows where my heart is. So tonight, I'm going to present him with the only one that's in existence. I did this piece, I finished it. He doesn't know this is done. But this is for Grandmaster. This piece is called Kepler. You heard about Kepler before. It's called Kepler Rising. And everyone here is an out carrier. And we did this. There's only one in existence, and it's the Grandmaster. Wow. So this family, this is not about Sisters in Harmony as individuals, about us as a family. As you look at the project, like I said, you'll see the sister here. I don't know if she wants to identify herself. She's in the room tonight. She can identify herself. She represents the ancestors. She's holding the word praise up. The word praise has the female ancestors in it. Each section, the black section, the blue section, the white section, we asked the individuals to wear those colors because I wanted them to show their praise, but that each section represents family unity. Unity, then unity. The whole thing is unity. So praise is all in me is the title of the project. It's in you. I see your mother. So praise is in you. It's all in you. This is about your history and your family history on this. We have this on the mouse pads. We also have mouse pads in the back of the project on it.
Wisdom from our folks, from our grandparents, from the people from the Caribbean, our ancestors. And a lot of that is getting lost with our youth today and age. I praise my grandmother, my grandfather who I never met.
I think this organization is working, can work, is working, and I'm impressed with what I saw thus far. What do I praise? Besides the Lord, I praise the Lord, and I also praise the friendships that I'm making just by being here today. And meetings, everybody that's here has a skill, has some type of gift to give to each other, and that's what I'm very happy to see, that people are giving of themselves.
Well, it's a great concept, you know, having strong, positive sisters come together and actually embodying the African proverb, each one teach one. So I think it's awesome.
Emperor Haile Selassie, that's what Roxas do. And Sisters in Harmony, whenever you bring women and you empower them, you empower the nation. So it's as simple as that.
I'm here to support Ed. I've known his wife for years. Whatever Ed is into, I'm here to support him all the way, 100%. And I think it's great. I think more women need more organizations to empower them. It's to get them, to motivate them to do something more than what they realize. A lot of women have so much potential, but they don't realize it until maybe someone grabs them and tells them you can do it. And you see another woman do it, and it just helps enhance, you know. I think I don't know, creativity. I mean, for me, I think I've always been the type of person that if someone has an idea, I'm always there to let them know that's a good idea and how to enhance that idea. So I love creativity. I love the idea of it. You know, I love to see something go from nothing to manifest itself in something. So, that's it. You're welcome.
I would have to say I praise my family, my friends, and I say that, of course, first and foremost God, which I praise every day, but I say my family and my friends because a lot of times they're there to support me and I'm there to support them. Sisters in Harmony is new to me, but just sitting here and listening to everything that I've listened to, the support is one of the biggest things I have to say.
I praise my ancestors, going back to my mother, grandmother, even my heroes, Nat Turner, all those ancestors, even to antiquity. It's it's important because black women in particular need to be empowered more. These organizations bring their different ideas together and focus into a common goal to move forward. And while the men can be involved in the organization, it takes a strong woman that's the backbone of our community, raising our kids now, so the organization has a chance to exchange ideas and to accomplish and pursue and to realize these dreams and aspirations. So I think it's a great thing.
Well, of course, when we understand that all things begin with the birthing process, with the process of the female, then we understand the connotation that sometimes females get in a competition with each other. But when they find that unity, there's no stronger bond. If you want to know a true warrior, try to separate a mother from her child. That is the true warrior. So Sisters in Harmony is making a big, big statement because they're saying, in harmony, we're going to get some work done. And so you have to applaud that, and I personally applaud it. And when I praise the energy of the One Most High in all of the aspects that we know. In the aspect of the female, in the aspect of the male, and all the elemental forces. And first and foremost, I recognize that spirit within me. That's what I offer. Because if you don't know that spirit is real, and you're speaking to something outside of yourself, then you really miss the point.
I'm happy for the women. This wasn't about me. It has never been about me and Sisters in Harmony. It's about what we can do as an organization of people when we come together. England, I saw it. Texas, California, we see the coming together of women who are sick and tired of seeing their children not have what they need to have: education, nutrition. So this tonight about women raising their voice in New York City for what we do. And I'm happy for that. I mean, for me, yeah, but I'm happy for them. Because they're meeting each other for the first time. This is what it's about. Thank you. Yeah. God. This God. This is the most creative.
It's a very practical idea. It's one that's needed because, we all come from our mothers, and it's so important to protect them. It's so important to be in a secure family, and that's where the mothers and sisters, that's what they stand for. So I think that having a membership of women only, that's a necessity, because the origins are from Africa, and they have women's societies, just like they have men's fraternities, women's societies. So it's a wonderful thing. So I encourage anybody that's interested in culture, interested in health, and sisterhood to join. Oh well, my mother is an ancestor now, but every day I wake up, I praise my mother, because I wouldn't be here without my mother.